Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. This is Your Wish Fulfilled on YouTube. And we are going to talk about inspired action today and whether or not you can tell if the action you're wanting to take is inspired, okay? In other words, is this action something that is being pressed upon you because it is leading you to the manifestation, okay? The realization of your manifestation, or is it being driven out of fear? Okay, so largely, you guys, the number one way that you can tell whether or not that is an inspired action most of the time happens after the fact. Like, you didn't even know that that was an inspired action until after your manifestation was realized. Okay, in other words, let's just say that an unexpected errand came up, okay, and you're out running this unexpected errand. And then while you're out running this errand, you get a craving for a specific kind of food maybe you don't normally eat, okay? And so you go to this, go to a restaurant that serves that kind of food, or maybe you go to the grocery store, a grocery store you normally wouldn't go to, and you bump into your SP. And then contact gets reestablished and stuff like that, okay? Then, only then, do you realize that both going on that errand and going to eat that food that you had a craving for, okay, those were inspired actions, but you didn't realize it until afterwards because they didn't have anything to do consciously with manifesting in your SP, okay? Those are inspired actions. It's just like you were led there, okay? You were led there. They were just kind of signaled, all right? Largely, that's really what inspired action is. You're being divinely guided and you don't even realize it, right to your manifestation, right to the door of your manifestation, okay? But there are times, sometimes, you guys, when, the action you're wanting to take is a little bit more direct, and you know that it's going to have a direct influence somehow on your manifestation. But how do you know whether or not it is divinely guided? Okay, so this is where knowing what the four wants are, the four core wants and needs are, because if there is an emotional attachment, if there is any fear or anxiety or worry attached to a specific outcome, more than likely it is not divinely inspired, okay? And we see this happening quite a bit. I'll see a lot in comments about people who thought that they were taking an inspired action and then things not panning out. And they keep taking this inspired action and it never pans out. Number one, you guys, that's how you know it wasn't inspired, because it didn't get the result. It didn't get your manifestation, okay? So how do you know that urge to reach out to your SP is actually divinely inspired rather than inspired by fear, okay? Like I said, is there a fear attached to not receiving a specific kind of response? Or is there this attachment to receiving a desired response? Okay, is not getting the response. So basically, if you're calling your SP, you're reaching out to your SP and they don't answer and they don't return your call. Okay, is that going to send you spiraling? So there is an attachment to an outcome where if it is divinely inspired, there's almost this air of neutrality. It's not that you are detaching from the manifestation itself. You are detached from what's going to happen in the 3D. Okay? That's what it is. How do you know whether or not what you're wanting to do is divinely inspired? You have no attachment whatsoever to any kind of an outcome. Okay, so this might look like maybe you've gotten news that your SP is going through a difficult time. And just out of the pureness and the kindness of your heart, you just want to encourage them. And that's another way, you guys. It's more born out of, like, if there's no attachment, but there's maybe some kind of unconditional or selfless kind of energy to it. Okay? You know, so you reach out to your SP because you hear maybe they're going through a difficult time. And it's even to where you're like, you know, even if they don't answer the phone, I can leave a message just so they know that they're, you know, loved, that they're being thought of, you know, they're being prayed for or whatever. And there's no attachment to whether or not they pick up the phone or even call you back or acknowledge that you called or that you texted. Okay. That would be more along the lines of what would be divinely inspired. Okay. So I hope this helped. Just take that action if you're still confused whether or not that action is one that is actually divinely inspired or whether or not it's driven out of fear or driven from fear. Just take that outcome through the Releasing the Wands process, which is linked in the description box below. Okay. Get yourself to a space of detachment. Now, detachment from the outcome, detachment from 3D circumstances. Okay, we're not talking about detachment from your manifestation, but you definitely want to make sure that you are working on detaching from whatever is going on in your 3D reality, and outcomes are definitely a part of that. Okay, so anyway, I will see you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out with me today. We'll talk.